Hi, fifth graders. For this lesson, we're going to talk about another aspect of fiction called problem and resolution. And I have my webcam on because I'm going to actually read you a story so that we can practice it. But first, I want to talk a little bit about what that is. So, the plot of a story, what happens, right? The events that lead to the resolution of a problem. So the resolution is when something gets fixed. So in stories, there's big problems, there's little problems, but usually there's one big problem that the character has to solve. And once they solve it, that's like what the story is, and then it gets resolved. And that's what makes a story interesting, right? If it was just people going about their day and nothing bad happened or there's no problems, it'd probably be kind of boring. So we're going to discuss the problems that characters face and how we can recognize what the problem even is. Because like I said, usually a story centers on one big problem. And it might be different. There's lots of different kinds of problems. It can be something really big, like in Percy Jackson when the world is going to end. Or it can be something like in Wonder when Augie was getting bullied. Like that's a big problem, but it's a very different kind of problem. Or there's a book Blended where the main character's parents are divorced. So the problem that she has to solve is how does she sort of go about living her life and come to terms with the fact that this is happening, and how does she continue to find happiness and things like that. So problems aren't just like someone got in a fight or things like that. They can look very different. So if I think about in a story, there's kind of this arc that stories go through. So we start off with what's called the hook, where the readers are learning about the characters and the setting. Who's it about? Where is it taking place? Then there's some sort of problem that the characters are going through, and it continues to build, and there's more events and sometimes more challenges and more problems get added. The climax is when like the problem is at its most serious, and then the resolution is when the characters can resolve their problem, fix their problem, or overcome their challenges. So most stories, if you know what you're looking for, follow this. And sometimes it's easier to find than other times, but look for it and it's there. So we're going to practice by reading The Rainbow Fish. Now, you might have read this book before. I picked it because it's pretty simple as far as looking for that problem and resolution. Okay, so be thinking. See if you can find the problem and resolution as I read. I'll try to show you the pages as best I can. All right, it's by Marcus Pfister. A long way out in the deep blue sea there lived a fish. Not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every shade of blue and green and purple, with sparkling silver scales among them. The character, a little bit more about the setting, that it takes place in the deep blue sea. The other fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him Rainbow Fish. "Come on, Rainbow Fish," they would call. "Come and play with us." But the Rainbow Fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. Okay, so getting a clue, some clues that maybe everything's not perfect in this little ocean world, that he's just kind of ignoring the other fish. One day, a little blue fish followed after him. "Rainbow Fish," he called, "wait for me. Please give me one of your shiny scales. They are so wonderful, and you have so many." "You want me to give you one of my special scales? Who do you think you are?" cried the Rainbow Fish. "Get away from me." Shocked, the little blue fish swam away. He was so upset he told all his friends what had happened. From then on, no one would have anything to do with the Rainbow Fish. They turned away when he swam by. Think about how maybe he felt because of that. What good were the dazzling, shimmering scales with no one to admire them? Now he was the loneliest fish in the entire ocean. One day he poured out his troubles to the starfish. "I really am beautiful. Why doesn't anybody like me?" "I can't answer that for you," said the starfish, "but if you go beyond the coral reef to a deep cave, you will find the wise octopus. Maybe she can help you." Okay, so we have this problem. He wants to be admired. He wants people to pay attention to him, but they're not, right? So that's a problem that the rainbow fish is having. He's very lonely. No one likes him, okay? Now, the fish are also having problems because rainbow fish is not being very nice to them. And that's why they're probably not paying attention to him. But if we think about the problem that rainbow fish is having, he's really lonely and he wants to solve it. So then we're going to see him go on this journey and see if we can find some resolution, if he can solve his problem. The rainbow fish found the cave. It was very dark inside and he couldn't see anything. Then suddenly 2 eyes caught him in their glare, and the octopus emerged from the darkness. "I have been waiting for you," said the octopus with a deep voice. "The waves have told me your story. This is my advice. Give a glittering scale to each of the other fish. You will no longer be the most beautiful fish in the sea, but you will discover how to be happy." Wonder what rainbow fish is going to think of this. He really likes the scales. I can't, the rainbow fish started to say, but the octopus had already disappeared into a dark cloud of ink. "Give away my scales? My beautiful shining scales? Never. How could I ever be happy without them?" So again, he still hasn't reached the solution yet. He's still lonely. He's still unhappy. He's gotten this advice, but he's not so sure it's going to fix anything. Suddenly, he felt the light touch of a fin. The little blue fish was back. "Rainbow fish, please don't be angry. I just want one little scale." What's he going to do? Is he going to choose to do it and maybe fix this problem, or is he not? The rainbow fish wavered. "Only one very small, shimmery scale," he thought. "Well, maybe I wouldn't miss just one." Carefully, the rainbow fish pulled out the smallest scale and gave it to the little fish. Thank you very much," the little blue fish bubbled playfully as he tucked the shiny scale in among his blue ones. A rather peculiar feeling came over the rainbow fish. For a long time he watched the little blue fish swim back and forth with his new scale glittering in the water. Okay, so it's looking like maybe we found the beginning of the resolution. He's noticing some sort of feeling. Let's keep going, learn more about this feeling. The little blue fish whizzed through the ocean with his scale flashing, so it didn't take long before the rainbow fish was surrounded by the other fish. Everyone wanted a glittering scale. The rainbow fish shared his scales left and right, and the more he gave away, the more delighted he became. When the water around him filled with glimmering scales, he at last felt at home among the other fish. So, his problem of being lonely, of not having anybody to be friends with, he resolved it. He resolved it by sharing his scales. Finally, the rainbow fish had only one shining scale left. His most prized possessions had been given away, yet he was very happy. "Come on, rainbow fish," they called. "Come and play with us." "Here I come," said the rainbow fish, and happy as a splash, he swam off to join his friends. All right. So if we think about that arc of the story, we learned about the characters in the setting. Then we learned about this problem that rainbow fish was unhappy. He was lonely. He had all these beautiful scales, but still wasn't happy. So he had to go see the octopus and Did he take the octopus's advice? Was he going to do it? Well, finally he did, and then the problem was resolved. He overcame his challenge, and he was able to be friends with the other fish. This can be hard to recognize in a story. So your assignment is to find a book to do this for, to recognize what the problem and the resolution is. I would go find a simple picture book. No matter what sort of level you like to read or what types of books you like to read, I would try to find a shorter and simple book because it's just going to be simpler. You can find it in any story. You can find it in books like The Lightning Thief and Wonder and Harry Potter and all those things, but the bigger the book, sort of the more complicated the problems usually are and the harder it can be to explain. So I would go find just a short, simple picture book, see if you can figure out, okay, what is the problem that the main character is experiencing, and then how is it resolved? How is it fixed at the end of the story? And you're just going to describe that. Good luck.